This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
All right, folks, how you doing? Captain Jack here. I have got a nice surprise for everybody because I got all my Wenches here. Yay!
We're so much better as a team.
Yes, we are.
And like I said, I only want to be the only sausage in this hit parade, and I got the three awesome ladies with me that I can actually go about and do those somewhat offset notes, but they know me. They are my wenches, and I love them to death. We got DC Wench Peggy Holmes. We got Kevlar Prom Dress, Heidi Fleiss. Ha ha ha. Not Heidi.
Oh,
that's a name from the past.
That's right.
Hey, you are a madam of awesomeness, so there you go. So
there she is.
And then we got the inveterable. There's a word that it's a long word that it definitely impenetrable. Except for only one time.
I was gonna say my three kids might say different, but
okay, only 3 times. Non-impenetrable Angry at Trask, and they are my wenches, and I love them to death. We are here. This is the Captain and Wenches show, and I am glad to say that we are here on a Tuesday in front of a big game, but there is something that is in the air, and I didn't put up any of the comments because we are going to talk about it. By the way, we are on a bunch of things. We are on all the channels. I will say this. If you are on Facebook, please get your ass over to YouTube, okay? And the reason why I say that is because some of the comments will show up. I will show you this. V. Miller. Thank you. See, V. Miller is a lady wench as well, and she's in the show.
Hi, V.
Hi, V.
But I can't see all of them, especially if you are on my profile, there are some that show through. Okay. And B. Miller shared it up. Thank you there, honey. Get over to YouTube because I can see all the comments on YouTube. We are also on Instagram. And trust me, on Instagram, all you see is me. You don't see nothing else other than a fat pirate, talking to people on a computer. Please come over to YouTube. It's better that way anyway.
Doing a symbol on us with 3 voices coming out of his mouth, 3 extra voices. I wanted to start off, Captain, by first expressing our condolences.
Thank you.
To the person who lost her life. I understand from the article her dog was in the car too. But the big issue that you talk about, we want to express our deep condolences to her and her family especially, and anyone who was affected by the horrible tragedy that occurred early this morning. And I wanted to do that to clear the decks because I always test things out. And one of the feedback I got when I started talking about how the Raiders were going to respond to this was that we weren't giving enough respect to the person who lost their life. And I wanted to be sure to do that right from the beginning so we can get on to talking about our Raiders.
I think that covers the sentiments of all of us.
Yes.
We all do
Amen.
have. We share our condolences, and it was heart-wrenching to see it and to hear about it first thing this morning. And I think I can speak for everyone that it's tragic. And it goes beyond a football team. Of course, we're going to talk about the football team as a result. But compared to sports, life is the important part.
Yes, it is. And I wanted to start off right away by talking about people that are trying to make the connection between Vegas and this. First of all, DUIs happen all over the league, all over the country, to every kind of player. This is about Henry Ruggs. Nobody else. It's not about Vegas. It's not about the team. It was a decision that this young man made that could well affect the rest of his life. We don't know whether it was maturity. We don't even have all the details. But one thing we do know, that it was his personal decision to do whatever he did. And then, of course, the comments about why these players just don't hire a limo or call Uber or Lyft. Now, Angria,
Peggy, they don't even need to do that. The NFL has a policy. The NFL will pick up the tab. If you are drunk or otherwise messed up, the NFL pays for it. Okay, they don't have to hire an Uber. They don't have to hire a special taxi. Well, I mean, they can if they have the money to, which obviously a first round draft pick does. But the NFL will pick up the tab, and that's what is so galling about this.
Well, it is, but let's put a little bit of temperance in all of this. All of us, if we're grown, have been in a situation. First of all, when you're drunk and impaired, you don't have judgment. Okay, period. That's just a medical fact. But the second part of this is all of us have been in a place at least once in our lives where we've made a bad decision that could have cost other lives as well as our own. And we're lucky to be here. And if you think on it, come angry. I mean, every one of us, Heidi, we all have a story about something stupid we did that just the grace of God and luck that we're sitting here talking about it today. And a drunk episode too, probably. It's human. But at the same time, this young man has to take responsibility for what he has done. His career is over. Even if he tries to come back, that stigma will be on him forever.
Well, and, we would have all had to take that same responsibility had that situation that we had, which was probably around the same age he was,
exactly,
had gone the other way, right? I mean, It's really sad. It's heartbreaking for the woman who lost her life, for her friends and family that won't get to see her anymore. So he ruined a couple of people's lives, more than just his own. And I hope that people take that into consideration when they start, making decisions. But these are young guys. They've just been given a buttload of money. It doesn't matter what city they're in. They're going to spend that money. And if they do this, look at Alden Smith. He did this wherever the hell he showed up, and he's still doing it. So it's not like you can blame a city. You can't blame a team. You can't blame anything other than the person who made that decision.
That's right.
And I will make a nod to the comment of OG Daniel. It is true. We do not have the BAC back yet. We don't know for sure what happened. We're just going by what the police reports say. But what they say is damning, and it's tragic. So hopefully, it comes back that it really was just an accident, but police don't usually get it wrong.
Yeah.
And it won't change the outcome. Even if it's just an accident, it's still absolutely tragic.
I mean, the point is though, and I apologize, Peggy.
No, go ahead.
The point is you have an accident, whether the BAC is of a damning level or not. Okay, there's a couple things that are going on here. People say, well, Jacobs was in an accident. Well, Jacobs didn't kill anybody. Okay,
by the grace of God.
By the grace of God, he didn't hurt himself or he didn't kill anybody. And unfortunately, a young lady lost her life. Okay, that's the one thing. Okay. No matter if his blood alcohol is high or not, the fact remains that charges will stem from this based upon whether it's a DUI charge or just a reckless driving.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. He's going to jail or will serve time or will serve a sentence depending upon what happens, whether he has a high quality lawyer or not. But my money is on he's going to do some time, especially if the blood alcohol level is such that it's going to be at least 2 years. And I'm going to throw my old man card up here as well. Warren Wells in the 60s went to jail for a couple years, and Al Davis loved Warren Wells. If you don't know who Warren Wells is, Warren Wells was the
fabulous receiver,
the first Raider that was all speed and could catch everything. Before there was a Cliff Branch, there was Warren Wells. And Warren Wells was that guy that Daryl LaMonica would throw to, and he went to prison. And Al Davis loved him so much that after his prison term, Al brought him back out onto the field to give him a tryout to get him back. But being in prison for the amount of time that Warren was, and I don't remember exactly, Peggy might enlighten me because not that she's old, but she knows a lot of things that I forget, as does Angria.
He was in for 10 months before he got any type of relief.
There you go. The younger statesman of the crowd pops in as well with Kevlar.
Hey, I'm the youngest person here. Excuse me.
She is. Be careful when you talk about the age of the ladies.
Yes.
But one other thing, to ride with you, Captain.
Right. When he came back, when he came back and tried for the tryout, he had lost it. 10 months, and he had lost all of his speed and all of his what he had. He lost the it factor. So if Henry Ruggs goes away for a certain amount of time, now granted, this was the 60s as compared to today, where, a lot of people go to prison and they come out more buff and whatever, but different things. The point is you're going to lose something mentally being in prison, no matter what. And so this is a damning thing. A woman's life has been lost, and this is going to change everybody's life, the family's life of the lady, as well as Henry Ruggs, as well as all of his teammates. And I just wanted to make that point. I apologize, Peggy. Please.
No. I wanted to ride along with you a little bit more about the personal responsibility of this young man. He had practice today. Okay. And I don't understand the decision to do what he did the day before practice. And I asked some of my outstanding Raider Kings, you know, your buddy phones you, 8 o'clock the night before you have to practice and says, hey, let's go out. Or a lady calls you and say, hey, let's go out and party. What is your answer? $1 million contract, the team depending on you. Anger, work with me, and you know what I'm talking about.
I gotta work tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I am not defending his decision, but the Raiders were off today.
Oh, they were off today. Yeah. Okay, all right.
They have to come back tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
It is going to be it's going to be chaotic. I mean, because they have press conferences. The players are going to have to go out and play. Ruggs himself is in jail right now. He's in jail. I just searched the inmate records. He's currently in custody. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be there. Who knows how injured he is? It doesn't even matter how injured he is. He's done. He's done. And we wanted to branch off that by starting to talk about what the Raider alternatives are on offense. And I wanted to also talk about the fact that let's not forget, this is the offense Gruden built. Okay, Gruden's gone. Mm-hmm. All right. He's history. He was a bag, whatever you want to do with that. But the fact is, we're looking at an offense that he spent 4 years building, 3.5 years, whatever. So now we're looking at the depth. We're looking at guys who can give you that speed alternative deep, because you know that all of your underneath routes, all of the play designs depend on stretching that field. What's your thoughts, lady, on who we get to be that guy? I mean, my nomination is Zay Jones. Absolutely. My thoughts are Willie Snead really regrets his decision last week.
But he's still available.
He is.
If he's not been
didn't he sign with the Panthers practice squad or something?
He signed on to a practice squad.
But yeah, he can be signed.
But we can re-sign him back to the active roster if we want to. And we can poach somebody from somebody's practice squad and put him onto the roster. And this was what some of the I don't want to say crap. First off, I didn't hear about it until my buddy said, hey, my condolences to you. And I'm like, condolences to you and your team. I'm like, what in the living hell are you talking? Apparently, he got a chance to hit the internet while I was working. He has a secret background. He's got an office, I guess, that does this. And I'm
special
like,
clearance.
Well, no, I got a higher clearance. He just has better availability.
The best ability
is availability. I get it.
Yep.
But yeah, he was talking to me, and I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, yeah, you're, and he told me the situation. So when this came out, I was like, wow. And so again, Heidi brought out. See, I had a friggin' point. I lost it. Never mind.
Heidi, you did. It was, but
score.
We were talking. We were batting around alternatives.
Oh yeah.
That deep stretching route. And somebody talked about Snead. I wanted to just throw in just for John Brown, because the guy we picked up from Buffalo, a speed demon, he's sitting on Denver's practice squad right now. Mm-hmm. But I heard that, I'm not sure, help me out, Heidi, he asked to be released from the Raiders.
Who, Snead?
No, Brown.
Both of them did. Both of them.
Yeah, I believe Brown did as well.
Yeah,
but
both asked.
Now, see, Snead, I don't know what his problem was, but Brown, that was when Gruden was here.
Wait, hold on. I need to ask a question, because there's a comment here in the chat that says Hunter Renfrow is with Pats, and Raiders waited till after deadline. It'll have to be a free agent. Who the hell are you watching saying that we traded Hunter Renfrow to the Pats?
This is cue to Twilight Zone music, please.
Right?
I'm sorry. The
Where am
last
I
thing they
living?
would have done was trade away a wide receiver today.
Yeah, no, sorry. I'm not sure what you're watching there, buddy, but that's not
Angry.
actually.
I mean, John Brown's out there. I've even heard now, guys.
John Brown is out there. Yep.
Come to YouTube. If you're on Instagram, you're missing everything. You're only looking at an old guy. Go to YouTube.
Yes, Raider
one other
Jason,
thing
that
I
is
wanted-
Nelson Aguilar. He is with the Patriots.
Yes,
that
he
was
is.
Nelson Aguilar.
And I don't want him back anyway. Okay, and I'm gonna leave the big enchilada for somebody else. But one other alternative that some of my Raider fans have thrown to me was us moving Waller to wide receiver and promoting Moreau to that tight end slot. And I'm like, I need stretching speed.
What?
Yeah, Waller is
Yeah.
basically a giant wide receiver, but he doesn't have that top tier speed. Zay
Yes.
Jones is pretty close, though.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
And of course, the big one. Help me out, ladies. You know the big one that everybody's been talking about. The guy that was just released from the Rams, just in time. And that's, of course,
Deshaun Watson.
No, not
Or,
Watson.
yeah,
No,
Jackson. Yeah.
no,
We knew who you were
Ajax.
talking about.
Yeah.
What
Oh, I
trouble
didn't-
Deshaun
I didn't even know he was released. So.
Yeah,
They released him today.
yeah, because they couldn't get a trade partner, so they cut him.
Yeah, nobody was going to trade for
nobody
him
was gonna
because
trade
they knew
for
he was
him.
going to be released.
Exactly. Yeah.
Complaining about Cooper Kupp's targets. I'm not being targeted enough.
That's because
Anyway.
Cooper Kupp is better.
And as well
That's
Yeah.
not
as
a you. That's at the comment, honey. By the way, yeah.
Woods too, but I mean they got a slew of guys that have been in that system for years. They didn't, but it's about Deshaun. Somebody give me feedback before I give you my opinion about that alternative.
No, there's my
Captain has his vote.
Well,
Go ahead,
he's-
Captain.
he's-
What's your vote?
He said no.
no. What I mean, this team is a solid team that with the members that are coming together. They've
Yes.
gotten rid of a cloud of funk since he who shall remain nameless has exited the locker room. There
Mhm.
were people that are not on this team the last several years, and I won't mention any names, but there were a lot of players that wanted out and got their release and are now not on this team anymore. Why? We can look into that. Maybe it was a toxic atmosphere from on high. Okay,
Right.
so now we got a team that is built together and is running well together and is looking out for each other together. Why do we want to have a prima donna like Deshaun Jackson come in and F that up? The
Ugh.
answer to me is no.
I still remember what was supposed to be his first touchdown in the NFL. And he was running to the end zone, showboated, and dropped the ball before he crossed the goal line.
Mhm.
I think
Oh, that sounds like a
says-
Michael Irvin thing to do.
That says just about everything you need to know about picking him up because
mean-
it hasn't changed.
The guy has missed a total of 37 games in the last 3 years just on injuries. He is an injury waiting to happen. He plays 1 or 2 games, and this is why he's been on 5 teams. No, actually 4 teams since his release from the Eagles. And I have to say, I don't want that kind of trouble either. We
got the people on the team. We got Zay Jones, and he has a good rapport with Carr. He just moved up, and we bring Stoner up from the practice squad, who can take Renfro off of returning kicks. So that's a win-win, right?
Right.
And we give Jones more touches. Okay, so Jones doesn't run a 4.2; he runs a 4.4. Okay, so 0.02, whatever the F it is. Okay, slower. Okay, he's got separation, and he's a good receiver, and he already knows the friggin' playbook We don't need anybody else.
Okay, he might not be able to beat Tyreek Hill, but last time I checked, Tyreek Hill is not a cornerback.
I mean, he isn't. And we even have from our lovely comments section yet another suggestion. Another diva.
I was going to address this one. Let me take this one, Peggy.
Yes.
Because we just talked about, you know what, OBJ, we don't have any more room on our IR for the rest of the year, so we don't need him. So don't bring his name up. Don't talk about him. It's not about the team that he's on. It's not about the scheme he runs. He gets hurt no matter what he does. You look at him funny, and he's got a sprained ankle. And no, Zay Jones will be just fine for me.
Yeah, I mean,
his ankle sprained. Wait, I'm looking at him from me.
Yeah,
and Zay Jones is what we like. He's a very high character guy.
Yes,
I mean, he's Derek Carr's Bible study partner.
Mm-hmm.
They are on a personal
so they got
level.
lots of connections.
They have great connections. They have connections on the field. They have personal connections, and I think that he is going to step up and he's going to do great.
Why do we need to invite the drunk uncle to the party? Is what I got to say. We don't need OBJ. We don't need Deshaun. We don't need divas bringing their issues from the outside to a team that has found its heart, found a way to overcome adversity. You don't need that chemistry disrupted by an outsider. Lord knows we have enough problems with our insiders. So
obviously,
let's not, you know, we don't need that kind of thing. Did you all hear about OBJ complaining and OBJ's father actually going through the film and marking off the places where he saw Baker Mayfield, where his boy was wide open and Baker Mayfield saw him and didn't throw to him 4 times during the game. And
my gosh.
Baker doesn't like him. And meanwhile, the Cleveland Browns, who we thought were a contending team, are now crashing and burning. That's the kind of thing that the locker room distractions will do to a very talented team, a high-flying team, and this stuff going on. We don't have any of that crap going on in our locker room, and we don't need it. We just don't need it. His father. Can you believe it?
I know. That's some LaMelo Ball shit right there. Sorry, Captain.
You know,
and
28-30.
Your father is an offensive coordinator scheming out things. You know your quarterback got a bum arm anyway. Oh, are there Cleveland fans on our
No.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
I don't want to talk y'all down because I'm very disappointed.
That's Matthew Shane.
I would be really interested to have a discussion with a Browns fan though about Baker Mayfield because he's a good quarterback.
Love his commercials.
But he makes horrible decisions. I do love his commercials. But that goes back to kind of the thing where I love Tony Romo as an announcer, but I hated him as a football player. Couldn't stand him. And maybe it was because he was a Cowboy. But whatever. Anyways, but I would really welcome the opportunity to have a discussion with a Browns fan about that because I want to know what, you know, there's some strife in there. People are like, Baker makes dumb decisions or does this or does that. But seems to me like most of the social media is all Baker all the time.
Okay, and actually that's
way overrated.
That's a fantastic segue, and I'm glad you say that, Angry, because the ladies dictate who will come into the show and who are going to be leaving on those comments. If you want to talk to the wenches, make sure that you comment and say, "Hey, I would like to come in." And if they so bequeath you the honor, you will be allowed into the show via a phone call or via a video spot. So again, if you want to come into the show, it's incumbent upon you because the ladies dictate who will be on the show and who will not be. So Angria wants to talk to a Skip.
Call in. Because I see some comments you're making right now, and I'm ready.
We're ready. We're ready for the Browns. I'm so
Mhm.
disappointed in it. Oh, before and while he's calling in, I just want to give a shout out to my poor little Jets fans. Yay!
Yay! We did it!
We're so
We might
proud
have
of
a
you.
quarterback.
They beat Cincinnati's vaunted defense with an unknown
I know. Who was
quarterback.
that guy? Was his name like
Quarterback.
Mike Smith?
Yeah,
I think it was like Mike White or something.
Mike White, 400.
Mike White. I knew it was something really generic. You'll never remember that man's name again,
No.
ever.
Wasn't Mike White a former coach of the Raiders? The guy's got to be like 70, 80 years old.
At least.
See, and they beat him with that guy.
That's right. And I mean, and this is Cincinnati Bengal fans. Oh, we were looking past them. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Well, they probably were. We got to
Yes.
give them that. They probably were.
I
Which
mean,
is why we can't look past the Giants.
no, we
Giants
cannot.
is not
true
a
that.
great
No.
team, but
True
we
that.
cannot look past them.
Okay, Matt Bouchane, aka Skip, call in, brother. You know the number. I'm not even going to put the number up because you got it on speed dial on your phone. Call in, and Angria will talk to you about your wonderful Browns. OBJ, the best receiver you got on the team is another LSU guy. And his last name is Landry. Okay,
Yeah.
that's for second thing. And you got David and Njoku and all the things that go like that. Okay, Jared, nope, Jared, no, Jared, you got to be bequeathed, Jared.
Yeah, we'll talk to a Cleveland Brown fan for sure. But I just wanted to shout out to my Jets fans because
Yeah.
the poor
We were
things.
rooting for them.
I mean, and the poor things haven't had a quarterback for decades that they can even put 400 yards on up a game. Maybe Pennington, Chad Pennington.
I remember that guy, Joe Namath.
Yeah, maybe
He was okay.
Joe
He was
Namath was
okay.
an average quarterback.
At best. But
At
I mean, they have had
Oh,
such
there's-
bad luck with the Jets, and whenever somebody talks bad about the Raiders, I always point the Jets.
Now he's in. I know the number.
All right.
Okay, Matt Bouchane, aka A Skip, you got in with the ladies. Angria Trask would like to now keep it clean. By the way, actually, I'm talking to Angry about it because she's the one who always.
He's talking to me.
Okay, go ahead, Matt. What you got for me tonight?
Oh, I'm just saying, yeah, you guys are doing pretty well. I mean, with all your off the field issues, you guys are actually doing pretty good. Now you do know that the first half of the season, you guys usually do good. Let's see what happens the second half of the season.
Okay, wait.
Let
me jump on that real quick though.
Yeah.
The difference between this season and the last two seasons was we had a head coach who's not there.
I know he's not there, but his players that he drafted and he scoped it still there.
It's the chemistry, honey.
If you have a boss that you don't like and the mofo or the futhermucker leaves, and you have that. I said futhermucker. I'm good. You have that stench,
fresh breath of air.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Breath of fresh air. The putrid, smelly, nasty attitude that was in that locker room. You're going to start singing like in the Wizard of Oz. Ding dong, the witch is dead. The witch is with. Ding dong, the wicked witch is dead. That person is not here now.
I understand that.
So we will see if it was him or the players. So you can't say just because the last 2 years they fell on their face. We have to see if it's the team or if it was the coach. It's two different.
All right, let me.
Go ahead.
May I?
Please.
We also didn't have a defense the last 10, 15, 20, 50 years, okay?
Exactly.
So we haven't had a good defense since early this century.
Wait, don't talk over each other, Matt. Let's Angria talk. Go ahead, Angria.
So you can reference last year, the year before that, all that you want. But there's two things that are happening right now. Derek Carr is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and we have not been able to say that, period. He's a top 2 quarterback right now in passing yards. right? Tom Brady's the only one still ahead of him. Is that right? Am I correct on that?
Correct. That is
And
correct.
2, we haven't had a defense in the top half of the league, not even the top 2/3 of the league in I don't know how many, 10 years, 8 years it's been?
18 years I've been counting.
18 years. Yeah. So, I mean, we had a real decent defense about 10 years ago or so, but nobody remembers it. Then Asamwe went somewhere else and we were done. Boom. That was it.
And we were 8-8, so nobody really knew. So go ahead.
Exactly. Nobody knew how good the defense was because the offense sucked so bad. And we had 6 different head coaches in the span of 4 years and whatever it was. But here's a point my dad made, and this is really weird, but if you think on it, it makes a lot of sense. Teams often fight a lot harder for an interim coach because they know that their life is on the line right now. And they're not going to if they don't do good now, whoever coach comes in next time, if it's not this guy, their job may be at stake.
That's right.
So
and that's
another thing. And now we're 2-0 with a new coach. Okay. And we have the best pair of edge defenders in the league. I don't care what you say or who you are. We have the best pair of edge defenders in the league right now. And so do you want to get on to the quarterback issue? You want to talk about if Baker Mayfield's playing with the torn shoulder and see how many times Derek Carr's done that?
With torn shoulder, I don't think Derek Carr can, play like the way he can play with a torn shoulder. He has to have surgery after the end of the season. So he's
really
with a torn shoulder with a sling on him. He's still swinging balls.
Why is
broken back? Would that one be good enough? The broken back?
What's that?
Derek Carr played with a broken back. 3 broken bones in his back.
I'm making it hypothetically. If Derek Carr had the same injury as Baker Mayfield, thrown as much as Baker Mayfield's thrown. Remember, he only was out against Denver. He started this week.
Yeah, he can start.
Derek Carr's missed 3 games in his entire career, regardless of how many injuries he's had. 3 games in his entire career.
Hypothetically, would you think his numbers would be the same if he got injured like how Baker Mayfield's getting injured?
The same as what he's throwing now, or the same as what Baker's throwing?
What's that?
Do you mean the same as what he's throwing now, or the same as Baker?
I'm saying that if Derek Carr got hurt, the same injury as Baker Mayfield has, could Derek Carr keep his numbers up the way his numbers are going?
What are we talking about?
No quarterback could. That's ridiculous.
What are we talking about? Let's talk about Baker Mayfield, a guy on the field knowingly injured, but he's so valuable to his team that he's going to get out there, can't throw a deep pass, can't throw those short passes with accuracy. How is that helping? Why is an injured quarterback trying to lead that team? That makes no sense to me whatsoever.
It makes no sense at all, period. That's some Ben Roethlisberger crap right there. You don't go over and sacrifice your entire team just because you want to be the Iron Man. I know he's still talking.
You got Baltimore, and I can't say Cap. Kraftwerk, they're going back up too. But no, sometimes you got to take a hit for the team. He
took his hit. He took his hit. He took his hit, and it hurt him worse than he could handle. I mean, if he's got to have season-ending injury surgery, then why is he still there anyways? That is not a business decision. That is an arrogance decision. That's an ego decision. And he is ruining He is ruining any possibility that the Browns have to be able to have a good season.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now I got to put on, because I'm not Matt. I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but there is a comment which trumps everybody. Why are we wasting so much time on this beautiful night talking about Cleveland?
Because Andrea wore her.
You guys play each other in December. It could be a playoff deciding game.
It could be, and we'll see what happens.
And tell them that the Wenches are diverse. We know all 32 teams, not just our beloved Raiders. We got it.
It's our job to know the enemy.
saying goes, you got to know your enemies, you know? So you got to know how the Browns are playing, you know?
Yeah, we know how they're playing. They're barely even a team that's worthwhile right now.
Oh,
Let me say this. Let me say this.
Whoa, wait, Matt, don't make me.
He's trying to take over the show. He's trying to take over the show.
Don't make me disconnect you, Matt.
Can't
You
do
wanted
that.
to come in, and Angria wanted to talk to you, so you shut the F up and you let Angria talk.
Can't do that.
I did want to make a point here. Now, the Browns aren't a bum team. They're not. But Baker Mayfield is not the second coming of Christ. And that's the concern I have, is that people are giving him a lot more credit than he's earned. Now, if you're going out there injured and you're playing on a shoulder that's going to prevent you from playing maybe next year because you're going to tear it so bad you need to have your entire labrum fixed or whatever it is, that's not doing a good thing for your team either. So what he's doing isn't in benefit of the team, and what he does when he's not injured is makes horrible decisions. He's lost a lot of games for stupid stuff he's done. And that is some rookie stuff that needs to be worked out if he's still going to do it. I love watching Baker on the field when he's on. He's fun to watch. He's a really cool quarterback to watch because he's mobile. He does his thing. I like watching him scramble around, and he gets out of some stuff that's pretty impressive. But when he throws a ball down the field and it hits, doinks 2 yards in front of the guy, and he had an additional 3 seconds before he got leveled to throw that ball. Well, it's kind of a stupid decision.
And I wanted to segue, into
Matt, wait a second. Go ahead, Peggy.
Because I think we beat this Cleveland thing to the death. I wanted to segue into talking about another quarterback that we're going to look at on Sunday, and that's Daniel Jones.
All right. With the segue, Matt, we're gonna say goodbye to you. Thank you for calling in, but we're getting on to the next subject. Thank you for participating tonight.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
I'll call you on Sunday, Jack.
Okay.
And I want to talk about Jones's diversity. I really think that he's been a little hampered by what I believe is a struggle going on between Garrett and the head coach, and a struggle for control of that team. And I knew when you brought Garrett in with that slick Dallas Cowboy, mentality, that wasn't going to be a good fit with the Giants, who are known to be a conservative franchise. I really think this young coach is in way over his head when he's dealing with Garrett. But that being said, in Jones, you got a pretty good package. When this guy is hot, he's
fun to watch.
Really hot.
Hey, stop talking about packages and hot guys. Okay.
Hey, this is a women's show. We talk about packages and hot guys all we want.
Hard bodies and everything else.
Them tight pants.
That's
when did you all watch the game a few weeks ago when it was just pouring rain? It was it Indy? I think it was Indy, and all their pants were all see-through. It was
it was great. It was great. You just sit there and watch. But Jones is going to present the Raider defense with, I believe, their first real challenge. It's going to be great because it's going to get us ready for the tougher games down the road. A guy who can break out of that containment and can pretty much use his legs to take you pretty much out of all of your defenses. He doesn't have very good receivers, but I think that's still a function of the offensive game planning and play design.
But they're coming back.
Their receivers, they lost how many receivers in just the game yesterday?
Yes, they lost like 2 yesterday.
But that's always happening. This is why Jones hasn't gotten the credit I feel he deserves, because there's just a whole lot of instability going on around him in New York, and but I think that he's going to present our defense with a challenge because he can throw. He's got an arm. The guy recognized the situation. I'm not real happy about his reaction time, and Giants fans will tell you that it does take a little time for him to process, but he does see it. He sees the defense. So I'm thinking this is the first game we're really going to have an active spy on the quarterback. I don't know. What do you think, ladies?
Well, we have played teams that did have quarterbacks that could break containment. I mean, we did play Lamar Jackson. We played Jalen Hurts, and you know they're nothing to sneeze at. I mean,
No.
Jalen has a long way to go, but as far as breaking containment, he's definitely he's able to do that. So I think that we definitely are going to be able to deal with it. And I think that it might be a little bit different this year because we actually have a defensive coordinator. I'm just going to say we actually have a defensive coordinator.
Makes a bit of a difference.
We do.
And he might say, you know what, we need a spy for this one.
Well, I'm gonna make one comment real quick, and then I have to. The baby's awake, so I got to go grab him. So I'm going to have to take my leave. But with one, I think a concern that people are probably going to be overlooking is: did you watch that Giant secondary last night? They were all over white on rice. It was crazy. So this week losing our burner and not we're gonna have to plug somebody in there. Hopefully Waller's back, and we don't know though if he's gonna be, and that's gonna be a problem. So we can't overlook that secondary at all.
No, and but the one thing I have noted about them, they have good games and then they have really bad games. Okay, and that consistency isn't yet with them, but it's coming. I hope it doesn't come together on us, but the consistency, and the Giants fans will tell you that. I mean, they don't know from week to week what team they're going to see out there. They have no clue.
Yeah.
They don't know who's going to show up hurt, who's going to get hurt, who's already been hurt. And those are things that the Giants really, really have. The biggest disappointment, though, has been Saquon. Barkley was supposed to be the centerpiece of their offense. Yeah, you can come in on this. I mean, what do you do with a guy that just can't stay healthy?
Well, we kind of, and I'm not saying that we have our own version of that in Josh Jacobs, because he's not at the Saquon level of unhealthiness, but we have been dealing with that with Jacobs. We actually now have at least Drake, who, and it's not really that we didn't have Drake to begin with, but we weren't using him correctly.
No, Gruden wasn't using him correctly.
Okay. Right. Well, I didn't want to say that bastard.
Yeah, Gruden has pets, as we well know, and I'm going to get into that a little later on in another show, but he has guys that he preferred to use no matter what was going on in the field. He was going to, this week, in the Eagle game, Drake had 14 carries, Jacobs had 6. Had Gruden still been there, that number would have been reversed.
If not,
right away.
Well, Jacobs was hurt.
Well, he's tweeting and he's saying, I wasn't hurt. Yeah, but you're gonna be hurt. Okay. We use you as our primary feature back. You can't take that load. It's established. We know it now. Let's see what we can do about that. I was loving seeing Kenyon getting involved in the game. I mean, the guy is seriously a beast. You guys have seen him play in Arizona and even some flashes in Miami, who drafted him, I believe. This guy
is the answer to the question. What do you do? What do you do?
He's a compliment back that is perfect. Exactly. You sign Kenyon Drake. And Jacobs, we misused him and we abused him for the first 2 years of his career. So it's our fault, Gruden's fault that he's in the position he's in. He was never a featured back in college, and we made him a workhorse.
And that's not what he was built for.
No, it's not. And if we had the situation when he started that we have now, with having a second really good back and then a third one, we have Jalen Richard behind there, who's, he's serviceable. We all know about Jalen, but
he's one heck of a blocker.
He wouldn't be in the position that he's in right now with having to battle injuries every week.
Right.
Hi, Homer. I'm holding back because these ladies have to leave in a minute, and I'll have the entire second hour
They will
to
have
just rattle
Heidi's
on.
all to themselves. Oh my goodness. And we hate to run and hate to go, but my hour is up and my clients are blowing my phone up. So I have to leave this lovely, lovely game. But I hope we've gotten some topics covered. And I hope you guys cover what you think we have to do to win against Giants. And no, we're not going to be Cincinnati. We're not going to overlook this game. We're just not. We can't.
Nope.
All right then, Captain.
Bye, Peggy.
I will
Bye,
talk
Peggy.
to you
Thank
soon.
you. We
All
love
right.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. And again, it's always great to have Peggy Holmes in, DC Wench. Again, if you want to come into the show, and since Angria is only here for a little bit longer as well, if you want to come into the show, comment and ask, because it is incumbent upon the lady wenches to bring you into the show. If you want to talk, if you want to do that, this is the Captain and Wenches show, and I'm your moderator, Captain Jack. The ladies run the show, so make sure
We
you
need a
guys.
moderator.
Yeah, we need a moderator. But again, thank you for that.
We
love
can't be
Peggy.
left unsupervised.
No, exactly. And Peggy will be pretty soon. Peggy won't be having these longer calls where she'll be able to come in for the entire show. And I love it when we have everybody here for as long as we can. But this is, X amount of time we got going on, and we're gonna have all. And we actually see. Here's another lady, Celia. Good to see you there, Miss Celia. It is the Captain and Wenches show, and Celia I know is another lady Raiderette, so it's good to have her in the show. So again, if you want to come in, if you want to comment, hit the comment section, like it, come in over YouTube so I can see you. It's always good to see you. If you're on everything else, please comment over on YouTube. There's only so much. There's only so much things I got going on. We will talk about what it takes to beat the Giants. And as Angry was saying, as Peggy's saying, and I'm sure as Heidi will say, and I've said it as well, don't overlook them. Don't overlook them by any stretch of the imagination. We are 3-15 coming out of a bye. 3-15 coming out of a bye. That is the worst statistic of anybody in the NFL. Okay, we are flying across country. Okay, which normally
for an
early game, and yeah, the Giants are coming in on a short week, but we just had drama in the locker room. Okay, which we will have to overcome again. I think this locker room is different. I think that it is tighter now. I don't think that the Raiders in previous team iterations under Del Rio or under the gloom and funk of Gruden or pick a coach, Dennis Allen. Oh my God, I brought up Dennis Allen. Okay. This team is built differently right now. Okay. And I think that they will perform better, but we will see. We will see, because you got to play the friggin' game. And Angry, before you go, Hun, what are your thoughts on the final thoughts? Because I want to make sure we pick your brains before you go. What the Raiders need to do, and you've already said that the Giants are not a toss away. What do you think the Raiders do to win this upcoming Sunday?
Well, I never say there's a toss away game. There's always a trap game. And I know there was a guy on the show a few weeks back that argued with me, we're not going to lose to the Bears. Well, there you go. We can never overlook an opponent. And the Giants proved last night that they can keep up with the Cincinnati Chiefs. Who are those people again? The Kansas City Chiefs, excuse me. And we see that Kansas City's kind of imploding, and I get that, but it's a good indicator of what they can do and what they can't do, and where they're going to put their strengths. And what they're going to do is try to attack our quarterback. They're going to try to attack our long game, and they were all over that field last night in the secondary, all over. I mean, every single time I saw the field, the backfield, there was just somebody covering everyone. It was white, red. And you can't just dismiss that. So there's going to have to be some changes in the game plan. But if we play a balanced game like we did the last 2 weeks, run, pass, run, pass, run, pass, then there's a much higher likelihood that we can run all over those Giants. But we can't overlook their defense. We can't. They've got some good pass rushing going on right now. They've got guys that are getting home every single game. And until we get on the field with them, we won't know exactly how they're going to react, because like Peggy said, and we can all relate as Raiders fans, we don't know which team's going to show up this Sunday. We've been through that a little bit, right? A few times. But that and their offense, Daniel Jones is a fun quarterback to watch, but there was a comment in the YouTube chat here a little while ago. He does to himself sometimes. I mean, he just gets in his own way, and figuratively and literally. So if we have a very disruptive pair, if we just happen to have a couple of pass rushers that do a good job of doing stuff like that, which I think we have 4, then he may be off his game all day. And I think that's probably what we'll see Gus Bradley put together, is just flushing that man out of the pocket as much as possible and making sure we have some sort of safety help. So if he does decide to run, we can corral that.
Okay. Ask a question.
And I have a few more minutes because Jack's still sleeping, apparently.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, and that's always good. Remember, folks, this is Captain and Wenches. If you wish to come into the show, put in the comments section, I would like to talk to the Lady Wenches, and we will summon thee. I will put the phone number up because there are people that already have the phone number. Jared tried to call earlier, but I said, Jared, sorry. You got the ladies.
You were not summoned.
You were not summoned. You got to be summoned. And if you want to come in, like I said, the ladies will let you know. And it's always good to have Jared's Pittsburgh report. But like I said, let the ladies pop me in. Okay. Actually, that sounds kinky. Anyway, other comments. We go into Heidi. Heidi, we heard from Angria. What are your thoughts on the game as well?
Well, Mike Sarah has a point. Fact is, losing Ruggs changes our offense. That's a fact. But we do have Zay Jones that I think can substitute in there and really take the top off the defense. Daniel Jones, he's a fun player to watch. He really is. And
as long as you don't have an investment in him, I will say. As long as you don't care either way, which way he's going, then yes, he's a very fun player to watch.
Yeah. And he's slippery. He doesn't look like the kind of guy that would be able to move the way he does, but he can. He kind of looks long and lanky and like he'd be a little bit awkward, but then he's off like a gazelle. It's weird. But I also agree with Andrea. You can't overlook any game. I've been saying all season that we need to win in the trenches. And it's like our defense has that down pretty good now. Our offensive line is starting to get it. And, ever since they moved Leatherwood inside to guard, it really seems to have helped solidify that line. And they're starting to gel. So I think if the offensive line is able to stand strong and provide ample protection for Carr, open up some run lanes, we're going to do well. Our offense is still incredibly powerful. We do have Kenyon Drake. We do have Jacobs. Jacobs says he wasn't injured, although the way he was standing there, holding his chest, it looked like he was possibly injured. But, the Raiders are going to be cautious because with his injury history, if he's acting like he's injured, they're going to pull him. especially in a game where we're pretty much dominantly in control. We still have Waller. We still have Foster Moreau. So we have tight ends. See, Matt Bushman, he had to go to IR, right?
Yeah, I was going to say we don't have Carrier or Bushman,
Right.
and those were the 3 and 4, and Carrier being 3, Bushman was 4. So people that are saying we'll move Waller to wide receiver, well, we only have 2 tight ends, and Waller is one of them. And Waller still, it might not play. Moreau might be our only healthy
tight end
on the roster. So
but we have Zay Jones, we have Brian Edwards, we have Hunter Renfro, we have Darren Waller, we have Foster Moreau, we've got Jacobs, we've got Drake. So, and of course we have Carr, the engineer, the conductor of the offense. So offensively, even though we've taken a huge hit, we still have a lot to go on. And defensively, we're getting there. We actually have a good defense. I mean, I
bite your tongue, Heidi.
I don't want to pinch myself, but we do. Gus Bradley has been all the difference in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, our Max Crosby and Yannick Ngakoue are scary. If I was a quarterback having to face them, seeing the number of pressures that they've put on alone, you know, sacks, they're getting there. You know, Max has 5, Yannick has 4. But the amount of pressures, they're leading the league.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know what their numbers are after the bye week now, but they were 1 and 2. One had like 38, one had 36 or something. And that's a lot of pressure on quarterbacks. And I just think that if we pull it together and Rich Bisaccia, he holds the heart to that team. That team loves him. They liked the previous coach. I didn't say his name. They liked the previous coach and they were loyal to him, but they really like Bisaccia. And I think that he can pull them together through all of this and lead them to a victory again. It's certainly not going to be easy. It's going to be hard as heck. It really is. They've got so much to deal with.
I want to answer a quick question that was put in the chat here. Mike Sarah asked, will losing Ruggs affect Carr? And I'm gonna say yes, it absolutely will, but not in the way people think it will. Like Heidi mentioned, he and Zay Jones are very close. They've played together for a few years now. Ruggs and Carr have just now connected, right? They're just now getting on the same page. And I don't think that we're going to see a drop off like people expect to see with Carr losing Ruggs. Carr, you can put any target in front of him, and if he thinks they're going to catch it, he'll throw it to him.
Yeah.
And Zay Jones has already proven that he will catch it. He's made some really, really, really good catches this year, if you recall. So, not in the way that people think it will.
Yeah, Ruggs had good numbers. I mean, there's no doubt about it. He had good numbers, but he certainly wasn't the only one that Carr went to. I mean, Carr routinely goes to 8, 9 different receivers in a game. He spreads it around, and he's totally capable. I think what Ruggs really contributed was pulling the defensive backs off the line. Because of him, they were playing 15 yards back.
And they always had to.
Yeah. So that's going to be the difference.
All the difference.
Zay is going to have to remind them that we still have speed.
Okay.
Yep.
Sultan Mir wants to jump in if so bequeathed.
Sure.
So, Sultan, what do you want to talk to him about? If you can put that in the comments section first as well.
He was talking about the different types of defense that the Giants played and how effective it has been against the Chiefs this year, and how everyone's been playing that, and that's why, or one of the reasons why the Chiefs were so vulnerable.
Okay. Sultan, this is the okay. it doesn't post to Facebook because I'm still in Facebook.
Okay, Homer.
Okay, I'm still in jail, so there it is. So Sultan, there is the link on YouTube, and so you go ahead and pop in if you want to call Sultan. The number is here. Let me put that up for you. You can call in if you prefer that, and I will put the phone number as well. 813-699-0834. Oh no, Sultan wants to pop in. So yeah, we're good. So we're going to pop over to a four screen in just a second. Sultan, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here, sir. And it's good hearing from you.
Hey, how you guys doing?
We're doing great. How are you doing?
Good.
Overwhelming day. I mean, just with the news and But I was gonna address the game. I guess how we would win. Pointing to towards how Heidi was saying the defense, how they everybody's been playing that the high two safety shell coverage against the Chiefs, and it's been working. I think the Giants are going to give us a different look because they have to kind of study our film to decide what kind of coverage they're going to use against us. And I think that we can run on them because the Chiefs successfully ran on them last night. And I think if we start the game by running, we can go into play action more and then kind of just distribute the ball a little bit.
A lot of
the thing,
passes out of the backfield.
Yeah.
The thing with that is they're going to have to figure out what we're going to do because right now, all we've been talking about is we lost our big receiver. They don't know how to defend against us because they don't know how we're going to need to be defended. And we don't even know that, right? We don't know if they're going to plug Zay Jones in there. We don't know if Waller's going to be back. There's a lot of unknowns here. And if we, like you said, they were running really well against them last night. Towards the end of the game, it was just run. And that was what was getting the Chiefs down the field. But we have the ability to really throw a wrench in their plan right now because of the unknowns that we don't, nobody knows on outside of the Raiders organization right now or spies or whatever, how they're going to be running their game plan this week. And it's hard to game plan for that. I mean, nobody planned on Foster Moreau being the big baddie last time we played, but the Eagles were a little bit shocked that he showed up. So don't count us out.
Yeah, we've been through a lot, but definitely don't count us out. I think the leadership on this team could really pull the Raiders together and get them through this with a victory.
Big time.
I really do.
Yeah, I think we got a talented team. I think that it just all depends on the mentality of how they're going to go into this. Like with the Gruden thing, with the Bears game, I think that affected the Bears game. We just got to pull ahead mentally and be prepared for it, I think.
Yeah,
I agree.
definitely.
Yeah, I always like to be the one like, oh, no, it's not going to affect them. They're professionals. They're better than. No, it affects them. It affects them. But what matters is how they respond to it. And I think that they can respond to strongly and be able to manage a victory through it all.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Anything else there, Sultan?
I guess that's it. Yeah.
Well, I want to personally thank you for coming in to talking to the Wenches. So again, I'm not the only swinging phallus in here, and I thank you for joining the show as well. Although,
appreciate it.
Although Matt was a swinging phallus via the airways, but Matt was a swinging phallus. But again, thanks for joining us. Thank you for watching, and tell all your friends and tell your lady friends to come in here as well.
All right, we'll do. Thank you, Cap.
All right, thanks again.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
You too.
All right, that was Sultan, and Raider at China would like to come in, ladies.
Yeah,
welcome another wench. Yes.
Okay. Yes. Make sure, China. The what is it? The link will be posted again. Again, if you are on Facebook, I'm sorry, I'm in Facebook jail and I can't post to Facebook. I'm surprised it's actually even going out on Facebook. But the link is posted there for everybody. Greater Squid, good to see you as well. And one thing that then Benjamin put this in, and this is what I was alluding to. Wrong one. Sub Squid. Sorry, Terrence, didn't mean to do that. Saquon Barkley is going to be playing Sunday. Kenny Galladay is supposed to be coming back Sunday. I believe that Tony, the Kadarius Tony, the speedy wide receiver from Florida. If he didn't play last night, he should be back Sunday. So they are getting healthy at the right time to get their offensive weapons going. Now, the one positive thing that I can see is that their offensive line is not the greatest, and we have a fantastic defensive line. But as Angry was saying, their D-backs are tough, and they will cover well. So we're going to need to make sure that our run game is sufficient, and that our quarterback is better than their quarterback. Yeah, I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. Whether
Don't be sorry. That's just the way it is.
Okay, well, okay. The team can come out and play to its abilities. I want to make sure that we are not. I want to improve upon that 3 wins. I want it to be 4-15. Okay, I want it to get up to close to being at least a 250 percentage. After this game, and I think we can do that. So go ahead. Like I said, Richie Riche is in here as well. I don't know if you ladies have seen Richie Riche on the other shows. Great guy, and a very well thought of Broncos fan, very erudite, and all the other things. So very knowledgeable. Great guy. Thanks, Richie Riche.
Yeah, I remember you mentioning him on other shows.
Yes, great guy. And if you, like I said, if you want to come into the show, like I said, I was asking, was it China? Come on in. I put the link up, China, so you can pop in. You have been so summoned for the show. Okay. Remember, you got to get past
While
the
we're
bounce.
waiting,
Yes,
Raider Squid made a comment in here that Ruggs is not Gruden. He doesn't carry the voice and presence, and that's absolutely true. It's not, we're not looking at the heart of our team. It's not Derek Carr that's gone all of a sudden going to jail, So it's a second-year player. Second year, third year. What do we do? Second year.
Second, yeah.
I don't even know what year it is. And yeah, he's making waves and he's making big, huge plays for us. But it's not going to have the effect that people think it is, and that's fine.
And again, we if you were not here for the beginning of the show, we opened the show by saying we were feeling so so much for the family that lost the young lady. This is not about Henry Ruggs. This is about the loss of a life due to whether it was driving under the influence or reckless driving. It doesn't matter. A bad decision was made by Henry Ruggs, and I'm sorry, I can't condone that. Okay, whether he was under the influence or just driving stupid, somebody is not alive, and that affects that young lady, her family, her friends, and everybody in the locker room. And as Heidi was saying, Henry Ruggs is in jail right now. Okay, so that's what we need to remember. We have to go on. We have to continue on through. But remember, the most important thing is the life was lost. And we got China, who's going to be coming in via the show.
From Fuzzy Red China, Sheila.
Okay, China, you're on, honey. How you doing tonight?
Well, I'm still a little numb about from earlier. I just wanted to let everybody know my condolences to the family of the young lady that perished. Jack, me and you are both former military, and me as a military officer would always preach this to all my soldiers during, it don't matter if it's formation, Friday formation or Thursday 4-day weekend. Do not, and I mean for the love of God, do not drink and drive. That was my number one. That was one of my number one pet peeves right there. If you drink, don't drive. Make sure you have a battle buddy. Make sure you have Uber, taxi, whatever, to get you home. But what he did, that basically costing him his whole career.
Yes.
Yep.
But right now, I know stuff's gonna hit the fan tomorrow during press conference, during their media press conference. But right now, we just need to focus on the Giants. That's the number one thing. We need to stop them. We need to stop them at every play. Offense needs to do their job. Defense needs to keep them away from the end zone. Secondary, my thing is, it don't matter what position you play, you need to play your hearts out. And Basaccia, I love him to death. He's making this team, that he's supposed. I'm thinking he's got a little bit between John Madden and I'm going to say Jack Del Rio, but I think he's more of John Madden. He really cares about this team. They're doing whatever they're doing, they need to keep doing it.
Ladies?
He's doing it right. Whatever he's doing well enough to make that team want to win for him. And I kind of see him. I could compare him actually to a Tom Flores in that respect.
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready. Yeah, I know he's talking about.
Yeah.
Right. This we don't have. I don't want to say we're gonna have to get past this, but we will survive it. We will survive. We got
Yep.
3 good. We got 3 weeks we got to deal with. First off, we got the Giants. Then we got a Sunday nighter against that other team that's like two states north of me.
Yep.
And then we have our Thanksgiving game team that's like 45.
Yeah, that Thanksgiving game is that's going to be a big one.
Going to be scarier than people think.
Yeah.
That's the biggest test right there. We got to show out. We don't need. I know. The main one we need to be healthy is Darren Waller. We need to keep him healthy. We need to get him back healthy because they need a lot of help. Mad Max and Yannick Ngakoue. Those two are like something. Who was it? I think somebody said those two right there. They're some scary sons of.
I'm sure that some people are having nightmares about those two coming after him.
Those are some scary ones right there, and they're seriously. They will. Daniel Jones better mind his P's and Q's because when Max Crop, if it ain't Yannick Ngakoue stacking you, here comes Mad Max.
Yep. And look out! There comes Denzel Perman.
I see him. But the whole entire Raider squad needs to stay strong because I know it could happen to anybody. Like I tell back when I was just at Fort Hood earlier, and I've seen too many soldiers get kicked out for drinking and driving and either injuring or killing somebody.
That's right. Hey, and China, and like I said, I appreciate you coming in here to make sure that there is, which we all need to remember, there is a human element to this. Mm-hmm. And like I said, as a service member, and you being a service member, we know how important it is to not do it, because again, you get hammered for that. Your career is gone. And one way or another, like I said, Henry Ruggs' career is gone because of one bad move. Right. And that's just the way it is. Yeah. And unfortunately, the bad move cost a young lady her life.
Exactly. That's why I always preach to them. Don't get stupid. Don't be stupid. Don't be ignorant. If you can't afford a taxi, don't even bother going out.
Right.
But now we got Uber, we got limos, we got whatever. You got a designated driver. Use that. If you start drinking, make sure before you start drinking, make sure you use common sense.
Mm-hmm.
We want and I always tell everybody this, especially when they're coming to my home state for the Cowboy game. Do that exact thing. Don't get ignorant. Don't get stupid. Use common sense. Because I lost.
Absolutely.
I'm probably going to start crying. I have lost too many soldiers. And I had to chapter a lot of soldiers for drinking and driving, or reckless. When they're coming back from Austin and they get drunk, I don't like getting those calls at 4 o'clock in the morning saying, "Hey, Cap, you need to come get your soldier," or "Cap, you need to come to the scene."
China, I want to say personally, I want to say thank you for your service, and we appreciate what you do. That's amazing, and nobody should have to do that, but the fact that you do is awesome. And it's been really nice talking to you about it.
Thank you, honey.
Hey, and China, thanks for coming in the show tonight. We appreciate you watching as well, and let your lady friends know. Like I said, the ladies, the wenches are here to talk to you, and we appreciate you popping in.
It's a pleasure, guys.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank
Hey,
you.
thanks
Thank
again,
you
Harvey.
very much.
We'll see you up
Go
on the next
Raiders!
And
All right.
all right. And I will add, Angry and I have been going to the club games up here, the Raiders of the Far North, and there is a member that comes, and he is in the military, and he loves to drink. But the first couple times that I talked to him, I was like, "You got a driver, right?" And he was like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "You worried about me?" I was like, "Oh yeah. Well, you were slurring your words a little bit at halftime, so yeah, I'm worried about you. I don't want to see you driving." And he said, "Absolutely not." He's all, "With my clearance and what I've been through in the military, there's no way I drink and drive." He's all, "I've always got a driver. My girl comes and picks me up, or I have some type of a driver." So I definitely respect that, and you can see the responsibility in people. I respect it out of him. I respect that out of China. I respect that out of Jack. It's good to see some people step up and take that responsibility, and not make the mistakes that some of us have, like Peggy said, we've all stupidly made. And but for the grace of God go I. Thankfully, nothing happened. But and I also would like to add, this has happened in the NFL before. Dante Stallworth. This happened 12 years ago and happened in Miami Beach. It was 7 a.m. and he was driving to the beach and he hit a guy in a crosswalk and killed him. And he ended up serving 24 days. I don't think that's going to happen in this case. He served 24 days of a 30-day sentence, and he was suspended for 2009 season. I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
I think this is a different time. It's a different generation. I don't think that would be allowed now. And so Henry Ruggs, I mean, he really has. Dante Stallworth came back and he played 3 more years after he got out of jail. But he always had that reputation. And he never got it back. And, I'll be amazed if Ruggs is able to come back after this.
Yeah.
He's still young. Who knows? It doesn't really matter right now. But He's a young man. He ruined his life, and he took the life of another person, and that's terrible.
Again, folks, if you would like to come into the show tonight, I am your bouncer, Captain Jack. You got to get past. You got to get past the bouncer. Talk about it in the news. Like I said, if you'd like to call in, Raider Squid. Yeah, Raider Squid would like to call in. It looks like. If the ladies would like to have a Squid come in, that's up to you. Again, you got to get past the bouncer, and if the ladies
You know,
with you.
I wouldn't mind talking to Squid. There's a really interesting conversation going on in here with Richie whatever, and
Richie
Mike Sarah, it
Riche.
looks like. All right.
And we got Squid
and
in
that
the house.
was
Yeah, Squid, we're here.
there's
Yeah, you're here. You're here, brother. What's going on?
So I mean, me and Richie are going back, and to me, you hit on it 100%. This is bigger than football. This is the first thing I thought of when I was hearing the news was there is a family grieving the loss of a loved one. I don't care about rugs. It's that simple to me, regardless if it's a DUI or it's reckless. A family's grieving right now, and to me, it's simple. I don't care. Ruggs, he's gone. Point blank to me, he's off the team. Cool.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson is potentially a free, or he is a free agent. They cut him. Like, there is moves that we could make on the football field, but that doesn't matter to me. Like, I just don't. I'm sorry, this is simple now. I'm right there with China, and I'm not gonna be like DUIs are huge to us. Like we've separated people for 2 DUIs. Captain will tell you 2 DUI, 2 ARI alcohol related incidents, and you're done. It's simple.
But when you kill someone, game over. It's done.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no excuse for it. And America loves a comeback story, right? And we see NFL players do stuff all the time that they maybe don't necessarily get away with, but they get redemption for at a later date. Adrian Peterson is just coming back to play on a certain NFL team this week. Picked up on the practice squad. I'm sure he'll be elevated before Sunday.
Right.
So you don't know what's going to happen, but I don't think that this team, the way that it's set up and the values that it's put forth that are important, are going to allow something like that to remain on the squad. So
Yeah, it's
come
just
back
a
to the
matter
squad.
until he's cut. It's just a matter.
Right.
It's just a matter of time. And I would like to comment to Facebook user. It just a generic. It doesn't show your name. He will get life in prison in the state of Nevada. He is actually facing for his charge DUI resulting in death. His charges will be facing 2 to 20 years in prison. So it's not a minor infraction. It's a felony. It's a felony. It's major business.
I'm not here to pass judgment. It's simple to me. Again, I'm going to say it again. I just don't care about fucking simple. It's going to sound bad. I don't care about rugs. I think about the family. Like that is embedded in me. Like when I saw the news, it still hurts reading the news. And there's a reason, honestly, I mean, just for personal reasons, I deleted Facebook from my phone because I get tired of seeing all of the negativity. Facebook's an amazing platform, and I'm not trying to knock it, but I'm tired of the negativity, and I just don't deal with it. Like, hearing the human element of it is what matters to me at this point. Yes, we have a game, and yes, I absolutely think that we should easily beat the Giants, regardless of what's going on right now. I think we're a better team. I know Captain mentioned it. We still have Giannis. We on a bye week, and Max Crosby still leads the league in pressures. The man missed the whole week, and is still leading the league. Like, our defense is still there, and we're getting Mullen back. Like we're getting Waller back. Carr's been distributing the ball. Okay, cool. You contain somebody. Who's up next? Foster. You still have old Renfro. Like the pieces are still there. We're now opening it up and we're using Kenyon Drake. Like it. And I mean, I mentioned it. Ruggs isn't good. He doesn't have that presence in the locker room. So Derek Carr.
And the way that Bisaccia has been opening up the playbook rather than just, relying on a small group of plays has really good implications for us too. Because Derek Carr's always been good at spreading the ball around. Always. He always tries anyways. And he's got a lot of faith in his receivers and his running game this year. You can see that just by the confidence he exudes on the field when he throws a rainbow down the field. So him having to move on to a connection like Zay Jones versus a connection like Henry Ruggs isn't a big, huge leap. I think we're going to be okay.
Hey, Squid, I wanted to let you know that I have Richie that's coming in as well. So with the conversation with you and the ladies, we're going to bring Richie Riche in here as well. So everybody knows.
Oh, Richie. Oh, trust me, we want you here.
Yeah.
I saw you say you didn't want us. Oh, no.
Yeah, I was watching your conversation as well.
No, I'm a Broncos fan. I expect to be there's a certain amount of disdain for me amongst Raiders fans, so I'm always cautious.
My only concern was that you said no, the ladies don't want me in there. Oh yeah, we do.
No, I said I'm not sure. I said I'm not sure if the ladies want me in there.
Oh, do you want me to scroll back?
I was very specific with my words.
You said I don't think the ladies want me in there.
Yeah, I'm married. Okay. I know better.
We good.
Squid,
very smart.
Let you know, Squid, Richie Riche is in with us, and again, I appreciate all you guys being here with the ladies, letting you into the conversation. Remember, this is the Captain and Wenches show, and I'm just the moderator. I'm the bouncer. So those are the ladies you got to talk to. So again, Squid, anything for Richie and the ladies while you're here?
No, man. I think I like the conversation. I mean, I really do like Richie. My first time seeing him was with talking with Violator a few weeks back. Like the man clearly knows his game and understanding that. So I just don't. I'm really not worried about it. I don't. Yes, Ruggs was withdrawing, but cool. He's not. He's simple. He's not a Raider anymore. Cool. Next man up. Like it's embedded in us. Just win. And I still feel we can do that. If we're losing Carr, then I'm worried. Then I'm panicking. But
right, the season's over if Carr's out.
Devontae Adams. I mean,
Yeah, we don't even have MV Peterman anymore to back him up.
Yeah.
Did we get rid of Peterman too? What
We got
the
rid of
hell?
Peterman, yes.
Yeah, we
Man!
The Raiders are
My
up to
life is
something
over.
because right now we have 51 players on the roster, and that's probably going to be 50 very soon once they talk to their lawyers about what to do with Ruggs. So while they didn't make a move at the trade deadline, they're definitely shopping for something, and shopping probably from the practice squad and shopping among free agency as well.
And 1 second. F no, Homer.
I was wondering if you were going to comment on that one.
Love you, Homer.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Hey, thanks again there, shipmate.
Bye, Squid.
Hi, Squid.
All right. Bye.
All right. I had to. Love you, Homer, but F no. Not on this show.
I think Richie Riche, he had a good point that Zay Jones isn't going to have the respect from the Giants that Ruggs did on the deep routes. But you know what? All it takes is one pass play. And just one. And he can have that respect. So
he's
I
not
totally
going to,
agree
and
with
it's
you,
just like it's just like in the Eagles game. Foster Moreau didn't have any respect either, and boom. 10 plays later, he's all of a sudden on their minds. So if you go back and look at Zay Jones' body work just this year, he's made some bomb catches. Even I think it was in that Eagles game there. It was what was a 50-something yard down the field. It was ridiculous. He caught that thing, and I don't know how many toes he had in, but apparently it was at least 2. It didn't look like that many. So it was
just
an
think that
amazing catch.
I just think that there's a number of NFL fans that aren't necessarily respecting the Giants' defense as much as I think they should, given their current record.
Oh,
They
you
are
weren't here earlier. We have plenty of respect for the Giants right now.
no. I'm
I
more
just
referring to your comment about the deep ball there, and Zay Jones is not Ruggs. Ruggs is a little faster than Zay Jones, and he is developed into a much better route runner than Zay Jones, despite the fact that Zay Jones has been in the league longer than Ruggs. So I mean, I'm a Broncos fan, and I'm as much as I understand that Ruggs is certainly not in everyone's good graces at all. You know, you have to look at what he's developed into as a second-year player, and he has started to show growth as a NFL player in the league. I am specifically separating the actions from the player, and I think that's one thing that I'm very analytical that way, and I can respect and trust me. I agree with almost all the comments that I've heard on the show so far with regards to the actions. I'm not talking about the actions. I'm talking about his play on the field.
Right.
I saw his route running in the Broncos game where he caught those 2 deep passes that resulted in, I think, 1 touchdown and at the very least a major first down, which as Raiders fans, you must have been, over the moon about. So, I mean, that's amazing. But that's the type of play that I'm referring to. Is I don't see that play coming from Zay Jones. He is not a developed route runner like Ruggs, and you are going to see teams rushing more, blitzing more, and causing more aggression towards the offensive line to force Carr off his game and off his read, because they're not going to respect the deep pass with a Zay Jones. Or I think you guys have another guy that you picked up recently with a little bit of speed, who's going to, they're just not going to garner the respect. And that's where I was getting at. And it's up to Carr, who I think is capable of spreading the ball around to try and force people to go back. But the problem is that if he doesn't do it fast enough, and the offensive play calling, if it's not on point quick enough, teams will overplay that and you will get behind, and that will become more and more difficult for you to do the types of things that you're referring to.
Fair enough. I think that's totally solid.
I agree. I think that's fair as well. But a couple of things that that I'd like to point out is, wait a minute, I totally lost my train of thought. Damn it!
Oh, you're having a Captain Jack moment. Okay,
I'm having a senior moment. There were a couple of things I wanted to point out. So one thing, spreading the ball around. Carr does that. He averages about 8 or 9 different targets a game, and that's on average. Usually it's much higher, but sometimes it's just Waller. Now we're certainly not limited on targets at all. Maybe the burner targets. Okay, I'll give you that. Zay Jones is he's developing. He's getting his rhythm with Carr, but he doesn't take those first team reps like Henry Ruggs does, obviously. But he's kind of the surprise player, the trick player. So they'll bring him in to be a burner for 1 play and then run 3 plays or something along those lines. There's a lot more variety to this playbook all of a sudden than there was 3-4 weeks ago. And there's a lot more capability in the line now that we've got Leatherwood at guard. Last week against the Eagles, that pocket was so clean you could eat off of it. It was ridiculous. And Carr has one of the fastest ball release times right now in the NFL too. So his play calling has been extraordinary as far as I'm concerned. If you go 31 for 34, that's a pretty damn good game. And when you own 2 of the top 3 completion percentages in league history, then that's a pretty damn good year you're having. So the Giants, their secondary is it's going to be scary, but they're going to have to revamp and retool a little bit when they're going to have to cover 2 big tight ends versus 1 burner and Hunter Renfrow. And, it's going to have to be a little bit more variety on their part too. And like I said earlier, we don't know what to account for at this point, because we don't know if we're going to pick up somebody else off the street. If we're going to, like Heidi said, we're shopping. Are we window shopping practice squads all over the league? Who knows?
Well, see, but that was the
there's
point, though, as well. Is the fact is that Snead is on a practice squad, and if we want to, and if he wants to, I'm sure that we would
Mhm.
probably broach it with him. He already knows the playbook, okay. And now
Yeah.
that Ruggs is not available, it's up to him because he asked for his release, knowing that he wasn't going to get as many looks. Snead is a quick player as well. I think that having him and Zay Jones back on the team would be beneficial. I want nothing to do with Deshaun Jackson. Nothing.
Right.
Mike Saris brings up Stoner. Like I said, I'd love Stoner to be brought up. Remember, our roster right now is at 51, which means we have 2 available spaces, and it's going to be 3 if and when we get it. We cut, and we'll probably cut Ruggs in such a way where it's like an exemption, where he's not going to count against the 53 pending what's going on. It's not a full cut, but he's not on the roster due to whatever issue. There is a category for that. So we're going to have
Yeah.
3 spots open up real quick, and we will bring those up.
The problem I have with Willie Snead is his hands. He doesn't have the hands that he used to have. I think he used to be. He's kind of a little past his prime, but I think he'd be a good third option. And I think he'd be, like you said, he knows the playbook. Zay Jones can make those snags though, and I tell you what, I'd rather have him on the field. But if they can go back to Willie Snead and pick him up, that's a quick, easy solution right there.
Yeah. And nobody's saying that Snead can replace Ruggs. Nobody's saying that.
Not at all. And Richie,
but he would be a good complement to the wide receiving core.
Right. I'm coming from a Broncos fan perspective. So, for example, we lost KJ Hamler, who had really developed into at least showed that when you develop as a route runner, you can become a legitimate threat in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
I actually see a lot of similarities between KJ Hamler's route running development and Ruggs, actually. And when you look at kind of how those 2 players progressed, I actually do think KJ Hamler developed a little bit better than Ruggs in terms of his route running ability. That's not just me being a Broncos fan. That's actually like looking at the kind of how things developed. I think KJ Hamler was a far more impactful player overall. So I do somewhat agree with some of your analysis and the fact that you were saying that Ruggs may not be as big of a loss per se. We saw a huge drop off as soon as KJ left our team. I mean, it was catastrophic actually for a couple of games there for us until we were able to figure some stuff out. And even then we didn't really have a semblance of, an offense that you could even hang your hat on. That's partially our offensive coordinator, and you guys are far more established in that respect than the Broncos are this season, and frankly for the last 2 seasons, if we're going to be honest. But where I'm getting at with that is, when you lose that legitimate deep threat, you actually stretch the field and you force the defense to not be able to blitz aggressively like that. Right. Whether you like it or not, Carr is a pocket passer. He is not a mobile quarterback by any stretch of the imagination.
No, you're absolutely right.
He can certainly shimmy in the pocket, and he can extend plays by recognizing certain things. But he is not your, he's not your Lamar Jackson or even a Russell Wilson or anything like that. Right. He is a shimmy and a shaker in the pocket rather than an actual mobile quarterback. And that's kind of where I'm getting at with this, is that if you are able to blitz Carr, get him off his spot, force him off his first and second read, and almost force him to not be able to look down the field but focus on where the defenders are coming from, I think that's the risk that the Raiders are in right now with losing a deep threat like Ruggs. Whereas before, the teams would have to drop more into coverage to allow for the safeties to play further back on the field. So as long as your new head coach, who, by the way, I've been really impressed with from afar, I think you guys have found a pretty legit candidate for your team going forward. I've always been a fan of special teams coordinators because I think they play on both sides of the ball. They know both defense and offense. And I think that presents a really balanced approach to a football team. So, and it seems that your players on the Raiders are really respecting him, which I think is important. But I actually think that if you can overcome some of the deficits and force Carr to not focus on defenders, you have a chance.
Stickum 145 over on Instagram. If you want to come into the show, come in over on YouTube. Come in on YouTube. I tell Instagram to come on over to YouTube. Ladies and Richie, go ahead, and I just needed to do a quick announcement. Go ahead.
Richie, Raider at China had a question here. How do you feel about Von Miller being traded to the Rams?
I'm for those who don't know, I'm a bit of a different Broncos fan. I'm far more of a realist. Those in Broncos country a lot of times call me a pessimist, and I'll take that, I guess. But I fully believe that Von Miller approached the Broncos and said, "I'm not re-signing." And I think if you knew that as George Payton and as the GM, I think the Broncos made the right move for the organization.
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
I think it's awful.
They made out like bandits.
Yeah, I think it's an awful move for the organization, because that basically means that you're hot garbage and that you probably are going to struggle for the next 3 to 5 years. But I do believe that it's an issue for the team, because if you have a player like Von Miller who says, "I don't want to come back, I want to go get rings and set my sack records again because you put together a horrible defensive line around me," which they have. I think that shows more about the GM, which I've never been a fan of Elway as a general manager. And that's an issue for our team, something we have to overcome.
Actually, I think the Broncos got the better end of the deal. They got a second, if reading that right, they got a second and a third for Von Miller, who is A, oft injured, B, on the wrong side of 30, and C, those draft picks next year will help the Broncos out immensely, bringing up that team, because, again, unless things are different, the Broncos are in the market for a quarterback, and they can project that extra second and extra third, maybe to trade back up into the first round and get somebody that is available to them. That is a damn good move for the Denver Broncos.
I think the Broncos made a good move. I think that overall it's good for the team. However, a few things as Raider fans that if I was a Raiders fan, I would be happy about is the issue that Broncos have right now is we don't have an owner. We're in flux there. And there's a better than not chance that we're going to fire the head coaching staff and all that kind of stuff, which I actually personally think is a mistake. But that's my, again, I'm in the minority in Broncos fans. And I
like
think
you anyway, though.
Pardon me?
We like you anyway.
Well, that's great, but nonetheless, I know where people kind of see some of my stances. But given all my stances thus far, I predicted we were going to lose this season and not have a good season. So far, it's looking like I'm probably going to end up right. And I said that our defensive line was going to be a weak spot this year. I'm right. And I was not overly happy with our offensive line coming into the season. And again, it looks like I'm right. So as much as people might dislike some of my takes on certain things, I've not been wrong on a lot. So when you look at generally speaking overall, the Broncos have a few major problems. One, we don't have an offensive identity. If you don't have an offensive identity, how are you going to pick players in order to fit that identity moving forward? The Raiders have had John Gruden, which has a pretty, I don't want to say set in his ways, but he's got a very linear offensive identity in terms of how he wants to run a football team. And John Gruden.
You were right the first time. Set in his ways is a perfect way to put it.
He is, but that's kind of the point, though, is that when you know what you want and you know where you want to go, you can also fit players that meet those needs, right? Like if you have a bar and you say we are going in this direction, the train and the ship is going in this direction, you can pick players accordingly, which is why I think I wasn't overly shocked that the Raiders were going to be halfway decent this year. In fact, you guys are more than halfway decent. You're a good football team, and that's because you guys know where you're going and you know what you wanted to put on the football field. And knowing that is half the battle, and you could pick players to fit that. The Broncos do not know who we are offensively. If you ask most Broncos fans, half the team wants to be a passing team. The other half wants to be a running team. And that's within the fan base, let alone the coaching staff.
Hey, Doc, you got to be summoned, partner, on this show. Like I said, this is the Captain and Wenches show. If you would like to call in, please call into the comment section, say, may I come aboard? and the Wenches will bequeath you that. Okay, again, this is remember, I got to get past the bouncer, and I gotta do my job with the ladies there. But thank you for calling in, Doc. It was good hearing from you.
So in short, I actually think the Broncos did well given what I think Vaughn wanted. And so I think we did very well for ourselves given those facts. Whether or not I believe the Broncos are going to be able to capitalize on those gains that we received, I think the problem that we have right now is that we're a year too early, and I think we're going to make too many mistakes going into it. And I think that we're going to start to kind of almost trip right on the way forward. And I think it'll take 2 to 3 years for us to even get back to even modest relevance.
That's okay with me.
Well, I'm sure it is.
You guys right now are where we have been for the last 5 years, or 5 years ago, I would say. We had no idea what we were doing. We didn't have a center. You know, we put Derek Carr in there. Okay, here's what we got. What do we do around him? Well, we get him Rodney Hudson. Okay, fine. But then who else do we got? Okay, we got to get him more of a line. But we didn't have any weapons whatsoever. No idea what we're doing. Okay, we have two okay wide receivers. Don't come at me with Amari Cooper's elite. We can have that argument some other day. But he caught his one pass last week, and he's going to be good for the next 3. And thank you, everybody in the comments. I appreciate all the love for the baby. This is the baby assassin. His name is Jack. But that's exactly where we were. And we didn't have any, Khalil Mack and Derek.
Hey, stop swearing.
Those are guys. Okay, well, let's set them up and let's get them squared away and put a team around them. I'm sorry. 50 who? 50 who? I'm sorry.
50 who? 50 who?
You're going to go bleep it out. It's at 152.
Okay, 152.
But we never did it. We never capitalized. We never did anything until, I don't know how you guys are looking at what the outlook on your coaching situation is right now, but the coaching situation is going to make all the difference. And that's the only reason we are in a position to actually progress to another level of play.
See, in my opinion, the Broncos' issues are not with our coaching. I actually think that our coaching, I think the issues with the Broncos, sorry, I'm going to correct that slightly. Our offensive coordinator needed to be fired 4 weeks ago. He is hot garbage. I never wanted him as an offensive coordinator to begin with. However, I think what the issue here is with John Elway and Joe Ellis and the senior leadership, which have kind of been here throughout. Let's put it this way. When you go through 3 or 4 different coaches and have all of the same problems, the issue is likely not with the coaches, because the coaches are being changed out on a consistent and constant basis. The issue is with those at the top, because that's who sets the tone and the culture. And it's clear that those at the top are meddling when they ought not meddle, right? Now, when you look with what the Raiders have done so far, you had a clear vision going forward and an individual that was given power. And I realize that John Gruden may not be the most popular individual or guy in Raiders, nation right now, but he at least had a clear vision, whether or not you believe it was the right vision or not. He had a clear vision going forward, and you were then able to bring in players to fit that vision as a result of the absolute power that you had within the organization with the 51% and the drafting that he had in order to try and fit what he wanted to do going forward. It took until now for you guys to really get to a point where he was able to get enough players that were kind of in his mold that he brought in to get to a point where you're quite successful. You're doing really well this year. Now you have a head coach that seems to have quite a bit of respect amongst the players, and you're able to perhaps even take that to the next level where you can kind of get rid of some of the other things that were maybe less popular with John Gruden, but can still resonate with all the players and continue to show success. And I think you're seeing that right now with your current head coach stepping in as an interim.
Absolutely. And he's been able to, he's had the benefit of sitting back and seeing what worked and what didn't. And I think with Gruden that he had that certain amount of tunnel vision, and I completely agree with you. It's got a good aspect to it because it definitely had its purpose and had its place, and it put us in the position that we're in now where we can take this team and fine tune it and make some tweaks that we need to make and be elite.
Right. I mean, in some case, I'm kind of envious of the vision that was put in place, because you had absolute power within people, with an actual kind of direction of a ship, right? And as a Broncos fan, that's been a piece that we've been struggling with since Super Bowl 50, where we've had a GM who is not drafted particularly well. We have not had a vision going forward. And that is part of the reason why the Broncos have not done particularly well since our Super Bowl 50 win. And really, Super Bowl 50 was the last grouping of players that the Broncos had that were really within the Pat Bowlen mold, who had absolute say within our team as the Denver Broncos. You look now to what the Raiders have done, and they had John Gruden, who was in that role, like within your team, right? So you had a clear vision of going forward, and that's what we're missing. I wish we could get back there, but I think it'll be 4 or 5 years at least until we get to a point where we can start saying, look what we've done now. And that won't be until at least a full year after Elway is out of the building, and where you actually have a GM that actually has proper control, and perhaps even 2 more coaching changes, because I think the current coach that we're going to end up moving on to will be an Elway pick, and then the new ownership will probably fire that coach and then move on to one that they actually pick.
And you know what, Rich? Go ahead, take your time. 10 years is good. Maybe even after my lifetime. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, please.
We're good 20, 30 years down the road. That works for us.
We're good. We're good. And I wanted to say, and Doc Cabral, thanks for trying to pop in, but we are up at the 2-hour mark of the show. And I want to definitely make sure that I say my piece to everybody as well. Ladies, while I got you on, your most valuable crewman for the evening. If Richie hasn't already been nominated, I'm sure that he is one. So I'll go ahead and put the name down. Remember, you can only do it once. Well, oh no, we're in November, so you're good for November, Richie. So yeah, you would be a most valuable for November, Richie Richey. And yes, folks, I have not forgotten. If you don't realize, I don't have internet at home, at my work. I do not have access to a bunch of these things. I wake up, I get dressed, I go to work, I come back, I roll right into a show. I need to do things. I have not forgotten about the spins. I have not forgotten about the prize wheels. When I get an opportunity to, I will do it. And oh, by the way, I'm going to be in New York this weekend. And oh, by the way, I'm going to be in Vegas next weekend. And oh, by the way, the friggin' airlines have screwed me out of 5 extra days that I didn't plan on not being here. So
pretty soon you're not going to have a job to worry about.
You know what? That's coming. And don't even wish it, because that's what I'm looking at as well. So please, folks, if you want me to be able to do this, I might not have a job come soon. So I will get to it. I swear. It's not out of lack of wanting to do it. It's out of lack of time. So again, I'm gonna bid adieu. Richie, as always, shipmate, thank you for coming aboard.
Thank you for coming on,
giving your
Appreciate
thoughts
it. Thank you.
well. And always a pleasure. And again, if the wenches like you and they summon you, they will be more than happy to have you come in again in 2 weeks.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much, guys. I'm going to I'll exit stage left. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Richie.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, that's Richie Richey. Ladies, we are in November, so we're on a new thing. And again, folks, I can't wait to see folks in New York. I will get the most valuable crewman for the month of November. I will start a new list, and I will get to the old list. I have things to do. By the way, I still owe Heidi her prize.
I still have to get you my address.
Hey, there you go. So it's not just me. Heidi hasn't given me her address yet. Okay. And then when I get her address, then it'll probably be 2 or 3 months before I get into my. No, I'm kidding. It'll be when I get a chance to as well. But Heidi will give me her prize, or her address, so I can send her prize. Heidi, any notes for your valuable crewman for the night?
I do have one, and I hope you accept this nomination because it's from the heart. Whoever is behind Section 105 Media Network. They have commented a lot, and they've been great tonight.
Yeah, I don't
Something
know
tells
who-
me you know who's behind that.
I'm oblivious to who's behind Section 105. So we will go with as your very good commenter. And again, Section 105. Thank you for your comments and thank you for being a part of the show. As always, it's always good to have fans that watch and do these things because you know we try to put on a good show, and I'm sure that Section 105 has a lot of. I know it's you. My God, it's like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Oh,
Are you effing kidding me? I know who it is. I know who it is. Schmuck. Anyway, Section 105, aka Raider Homer, is Heidi's. I let the cat out of the bag. It is Heidi's most valuable crewman for the night. And again, when I get my November spins, he will be on for the November spin. Angria, you can get somebody, and I'm sure that Peggy had one as well. But you guys can pick one for Peggy as well.
well, I'm gonna give some love to Sultan Mir. I appreciate him being on the show.
Great pick as well. Okay.
And I will add for Peggy, Raider at China.
Nice. Okay. We have our 4 for the evening. Again, folks, I get a chance to do there are a couple of things. If you send donations via your super chat or super sticker, that is a donation for a prize in the prize wheel. That is different than most valuable crewmen who get a prize. It was a $20 gift certificate. But there are other things afoot that might be coming your way. I won't say what they are because I know what they are, but I will keep it to myself. And again, I thank Heidi, aka Kevlar Prom Dress. I thank Angria Trask, and I know your name. I'm not going to say it. And DC Wench Peggy Holmes, who will be joining us a little bit longer shortly when that portion is done. I thank you for tuning into the Captain and Wenches show. Be here tomorrow, not on my channel, but on NFL Nation Live. It's the N Space FL channel on YouTube, where myself, Violator, and Ref Guru will be talking about the games for this past weekend, along with a look at the games upcoming. Thursday will be the normal You Don't Know Jack About Sports show, where you don't have to get past me. You got to get past me to be on the show, and I'll probably let you on, maybe. And then Friday will be the Elite Superfan show, where I will be in New York at such a time that I can actually have the show, and we will have that show. I got you, Angria.
Thank you.
Yeah, I did have you until you unmuted, but whatever. Anyway, but we will have a show on Friday, Elite Superfan show, that wonderful, great show that Homer started for the Elite Superfan show. See, I give Homer love. And do that, and then I will probably do one Sunday when I get home. And again, I'm in the city on Sunday. It is a 1:00 game, but I have no frigging clue what it's going to be like getting out of Jersey. I'm in Jersey. My God, I'm in Jersey. And I got to get back to New York. And then I got to get from the bus back to my hotel. So give me some chances. Give me some time to get to my room, and we'll have a show on Sunday. Again, ladies, I thank you for all that you do, making Captain and Wenches the great show that it is. Remember, I'm the moderator. It's your show, and you guys are awesome.
We love you, Jack. Thank you.
Thank you. And you guys, and again, can't wait to have y'all back again.
And we love the viewers. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for participating.
There you go. Because it's not a show without y'all as well. Although I just sit back and let the ladies handle it. Other than when I get the chance to scream at Matt or Homer, when I get a chance to do that as well. We love you, Homer.
That's Captain for you.
That's right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you for the next show. Remember, Captain and Wenches in 2 weeks. Chronicles of the Black Hole, hopefully next Tuesday. And we'll see everybody then. Take care, everybody. And let's get that victory on Sunday. Don't overlook the Giants, but let's talk about a victory Sunday upcoming if we play up to our capabilities.
All right. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Go Raiders.
Raiders.
Raiders. Take care, everybody.